Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of Black Empowerment 365. I am your host, Kensei, all the way live from Los Angeles, California, where it's hot as heck, and it's only going to get hotter. And I'm here with my co-host, the one and only, the beautiful, the talented, Kiana. How you doing?
I am wonderful, wonderful. It is like 100 degrees here in North Carolina, so Nikki knows. She knows how hot it is. And I'm with you. But I'm glad it's summer. The sun is shining. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. And, like I said, it's hot and it's going to hit triple digits in the next couple of days here in Los Angeles. And, I'm trying to get prepared, making sure I have all my fans and all of that good stuff going. But I'm not looking forward to it. I don't like it too hot here. But, that's enough about me complaining. This is, last week, unfortunately, we didn't have a regular show, but we had like kind of a free-for-all last week. It was a lot of fun. We didn't record it. It was a lot of fun. Thank God we didn't record it. But this week, we are so blessed to have such a wonderful guest. And I'm going to hand the mic over to you, Kiana, so you can introduce our lovely guest.
All right. Well, if you guys do not know this woman, you guys are going to learn tonight. I'm super excited. Listen, Christina Ervin, I met her last year through Periscope, and I'm so blessed that I did. I believe that she helps one of the most underserved individuals, really, underserved individuals, which are working entrepreneurs. And so I'm so blessed to have her here tonight, really having her give us some of her knowledge, some of her background. She has extensive background, amazing individual. And I'm so thankful to have you here tonight, Christina. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. And Kente, thanks for, it's nice to meet you for the first time too. I'm really excited about having this opportunity to talk to everybody tonight, and been doing all this thinking about what we were going to talk about and which way I wanted to go with it. And I was like, you know what? If Kiana is part of this, we could go any direction. So I'm really excited to have this discussion tonight.
All right.
Well, we always start off.
All right. So
we always start off with asking your background and tell us where it all began. So a little bit about where you're from and about you.
So clearly, you guys can tell I got a little ball, right? So I live in Northeast Tennessee. I was born and raised in Middle Tennessee, and went to college on a Division I basketball scholarship, and I ended up just staying around in the area. And upon graduation, it was literally like, what am I going to do? So I started working in corporate America and kind of working my way up in corporate America. To be honest with you, it was one of those things where you get that reality check after you graduate. You're like, they're going to pay me how little? And you want me to work how many hours? And no, you're trying to give me a title or nothing? Like, it was all kinds of reality checks, right? And so I decided, well, let me go. And the reason I'm going to tell you this in really a short, concise background like this is because it'll be relevant to the conversation later. So then I decided, well, let me go back to school and let me go get my MBA because, I got my MBA. I'm in this business world. At this point, with all that I'm giving, and all that I'm contributing, it'll just help out, right? When I go for these interviews to get these promotions and things, not a problem. Of course, that's not exactly the way things work out, right? You get in the corporate world and you realize that most of the people that are over you maybe don't have a degree. They were kind of just grandfathered in because they've been working there like a couple of decades. But you also recognize just how much networking and relationships and politics and all that kind of stuff play. So I did that. I kind of got a couple of promotions, but I still wasn't getting anywhere. I really wasn't growing in the company like I wanted to, and was getting frustrated with the whole, well, actually, I think you're like the best choice for this job. Well, we're not going to give it to you. Senior management is making you choose somebody else. So I decided, what? There are all these positions that they're giving out, all these promotions they're giving out, there's all project management, blah, blah, blah. Let me go back to school. So I went and got another master's degree. Anybody remember that little saying about insanity? Let me hold on my hand there. So I went back, I got another master's degree with in information system security with a project management focus, and a certificate in Lean Six Sigma, and all this stuff. And the more educated I got, the more frustrating it got, and the more I recognized I educated myself right out of promotions and everything, right? At this point, you know, I won't go into that, but let's just put it like this. That didn't serve me well. The only thing that really served me was a bunch of student loan debt. So, but the reason that this is important is because there was always that tickle that was, you know, I was always doing personal development and reading Robert Kiyosaki and Darren Hardy and thinking, like all this stuff. I was always listening to audios and everything to grow. So I always had this entrepreneurial spirit. And I knew at a young age that I just was not that chick that really wanted to be working for somebody for the rest of my life. I wanted to be working for myself. But, you know, the fam, all the old heads was like, look, you the smart one. You know, you go get that good job, get that good security, get that good check, get some benefits, you know, all that stuff. So I went with what I thought was the secure thing. And it kind of came to a head. You know, my mom had a sickness, and she was unable to work all of a sudden. You know, and while we were trying to fight for a few years to get her disability, I had to help supplement the parents, and everything just got stressful. It got to the point where I was sitting at my desk, y'all, and like tears are running down my eyes, and I don't even know that I needed to cry. I didn't even know I was crying. Like I had no clue that I was crying. And that's when it came to the head. I was like, you know, I need to get into this business thing. So researching, figuring out how to bring this online, make money online, some extra money to try to start to work on my exit plan. Right?
Christina,
and
I really want everyone to hear it. I muted myself, so I was wondering if you could refresh because it is echoing. Yeah, the echo is horrible. So I don't know, because I muted myself and made sure, but it's a really bad echo when you were talking. So I don't know if everybody heard everything.
All right, we're back in the game. So you were saying?
So just long story short, you know, bringing my business online, I was getting frustrated just not getting the results. I think there is still an echo. And I ended up having a chance meeting with someone in a Google Plus community, and started really asked me whether I was, you know, paid what I was worth. And I was like, no. Like what started out as me going on a journey to get comfortable with asking for the sale in my business and charging my worth and all that. Really, I actually learned over the course of a year, because this was a year-long course. I actually learned what really is important it's balance, it's compassion, you know, it's the relationship that I have with myself, right? And having a strong relationship with myself, knowing my own worth. It's a personal thing. And if I'm personally good, if I'm personally balanced, if I'm personally empowered, then I can go shine my shine all over the internet. In person, it doesn't matter where I'm at, because it'll radiate and it'll attract my tribe, right? And I'll be the best that I can be. So I'm on this like whole quest of just awareness and people having a mindset shift. So I just want to ask everybody tonight, like, are we ready to be real and ask the real questions? Are we ready to be honest? Are we ready to actually see things? Because this is a secure zone right now. Like, we're going to be real tonight. Okay? And understand that the universe is always pulling. It's always the positive and negative, right? There's always that counterbalance. It's the natural order of the universe. It's the natural order of things to have positive energy, negative energy, strong, weak, right? And for us to get to the point where we are our best selves, so we have the mindset shift to our best self, whatever that is, not Kente's best, not Kiana's best, not LaShonda's best, but Christina's best. In order for me to get to that level, I got to be willing to look at my stuff. I got to be willing to look at the stuff that hurts, the ugly stuff that makes me mad, all of those pains, all of those frustrations, all of those emotions. I'm just just saying, guys, are we really willing to keep it real? And thinking about our community in general, you know, if you think back to your childhood, let me just ask you, think about what subtle lessons that you're being taught unknowingly, because everybody passes what they don't know, a bunch of crap that they don't know, right? So think about those subtle things that you're told. I know, for one of the big things that really impressed me as a kid was not getting recognized for All-Stars one year. And I deserved it because I play sports. I deserved it, but there was all kinds of little politicking going on, and I didn't get the award that I should have. And I remember my mom saying, "Baby girl, I didn't want to have to tell you this, but the truth is that you can't be good. You can't be average. You can't be all right. You have got to be absolutely awesome." Anybody else got that story from their parents, or is it just me? Right? So the subtle thing that I picked up from there is my best isn't good enough, because I did give my best and I didn't get that recognition. So I got to always be killing myself because I'm not enough. And that's that subtle message that you get, that you carry on through life, that you don't recognize. I'm not enough. You know, if you are one of those kids that happens to be a pudgy little kid, and then everybody's always talking about, you know, if you about how pudgy you are, and you could be so pretty if you have a pretty this face or whatever. That subtle message is that you aren't as good as the next person. And these are just these subtle messages that you carry on through life, right? If you're a kid that doesn't get the good grades, right? And when it goes, you know, even thinking about, you know, being that little pudgy kid, oftentimes what adults don't do is they don't say, "Hey, let me teach you a healthier way to eat. Let me explain to you how this, you know, eating this way, what fat can do to your body over time." Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Oh, perfect sense.
Yep. Any questions from the audience before I keep going?
Well, you hit a lot of points, and one I want to ask you specifically, you know, since you mentioned that, as far how did it make you feel? You said that your best isn't good enough. Like, so what happened after that? When your mom said that to you, and you felt like your best wasn't good enough, what did that do for you?
Well, it set me on this lifelong journey of always like killing myself to be better. My competition isn't the next person. My competition is me, because I always feel like I'm the ish, like for real. Like I feel like, you know, one thing that I'm blessed in that I had two parents that really helped, you know, feed my confidence or whatever. So I'm always working to best me, and it's absolutely exhausting. I mean, it's literally exhausting. So I remember as a kid, you know, in my house, you don't bring home B's, honey. You bring home A's. You don't be bringing home barely A's. You be bringing home like 98, 97. Like, you don't be bringing home them barely grades, right? And as a condition of living, you best be bringing home A's. And it got to the point where I was always I would be up all night studying rather than sleeping, to the point where my mom literally put me on like a curfew from studying. Whose parents do that, right? So it set up this level of excellence in me. And I always felt like I was always being judged, and I always had a competition, and I always had I just was never good enough. And while on one hand, you want a kid to strive for their greatness, it wasn't coming from an empowered place. Guys, the point that I want to make here is that some of these things that are set up in our early life that we carry on through our adulthood are coming from a negative energy, are coming from a disempowered energy. And it's one thing to be striving for your best because you know that you haven't reached your best. And it's another thing to be striving for your best because you think you're not good enough. Does everyone? All right. Yeah. Hey, I like participation. I need back and forth.
Oh, you're so funny. Well, listen, I understand that completely. And I think everybody, they're filling you up right now. They're giving you some praise. So yes, I think that we understand. This is really a heavy topic. So, I mean, when you mention that, what do you think, how do you think that really affects our community as a whole?
I think as a whole, it's one of those things where look, let's keep it real, okay? As Black women, we never feel like we are beautiful enough. We never feel like anybody cares about the way we feel. We always feel like we have to sacrifice for everybody else. So not only are we the low man on everybody else's totem pole, but we're the low man on our own totem pole, right? As Black men, I can't speak from that experientially, but I can just speak from having the discussion with some of my homies, right? You always feel like that you are misunderstood and underappreciated, and there are just so many things that come with our community. Here's the thing. So often we don't even get to understand how to find our own values, because we start off learning maybe that our values might not be acceptable, right? So as a young Black man, don't be sitting there crying, right? Don't be a little punk. Man up, right? You got to be hard. Like, you can't let these fools get over on you like that. And so maybe he is compassionate, but maybe there is something in him that, heck, he might be a great artist or a wonderful director or a script, write scripts or something for plays or something like that. But that begins to get suppressed because you got to have an awareness and a keen connection to your environment, right? Your synapses have got to fire off to the environment in order to foster that kind of skill. As young girls, it's like you sacrifice. I know myself, I actually was a pretty good athlete, and I actually earned a scholarship to college. I didn't have the passion for basketball, for example. I just did it because I was told I had to do it in order to get an education. I wasn't sure what in the world I wanted to do when I went into college, because I just had to do the thing. I had to be an attorney, or I had to be, a doctor, or I had to be something that was secure, that was going to make the money. So fostering any passions that I had inside me at an early age, I learned just subtly from environment that I couldn't really explore those things. Mm-hmm. Because as a kid, as a Black kid, you sit over there, you don't be heard, right? So the little kid's like, I want to color, whatever. It's like we don't necessarily always foster that. Mm-hmm. And that's I'm not trying to say it in a bad way. What I am saying is, tonight, my goal is just to prick a little awareness. Does that make sense, Kente?
Perfect.
You feeling me? So going back to that whole idea of empowerment and disempowerment and understanding our own personal value, you got to get to the root of a lot of your stuff. And that can be painful. Over a course of a year, when I went through that course, I mean, we did some exercises and I thought, well, this is a little trivial. This is kind of stupid. What I really realized is that I don't know me. And if I don't know me, then I can't communicate for me. I can't communicate to you what I'm passionate about, because hell, I don't know what I'm passionate about. Mm-hmm. Right? I can't communicate to you really what hurts me, because by now I've put up a little blindness to what really hurts me. And as a community, we can be quite stoic. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Well, even on that topic, like what are some things that you feel that we are still doing with our community that we really need to begin to change?
Well, for one, we gotta get up off of this whole keep our mess behind closed doors. We don't want to talk about our mess. Mm. Okay? Because we got to talk about our mess. And we can't expect other groups of people to be sensitive or empathetic to our experiences. Even believe us when we saying, hey, there's a problem. Thank God now we got stuff like Periscope and Meerkat and stuff. And so now we could straight be videoing all the mess. And yes, now people are starting to see. But nobody is going to hear you. It's all about your presentation, right? So if I'm here screaming at you and I'm pointing at you and I'm screaming at you and I'm throwing things, you ain't trying to hear me. You're just trying to protect you. You got your wall up too. And for us, I think as a community, once we begin to clean up our mess and once we begin to keep it real with ourselves and call a thing, as Iyanla Vanzant says, once we get to that point, then it'll be easier to get other groups to be empathetic to what we're saying, believe what we're saying, and be willing to be partners in it. Because quite honestly, our experience is everybody's experience in one way or another. And once we get to that point, because we're a very compassion-less world. And it's hard to have compassion for someone else if I don't have compassion for me. Mm-hmm. And we think we have compassion. Like, we're quick to be, I love me, honey. I love me. Can't nobody love me like I love me. But the truth is, do you really? I always thought that I loved me. But I'll be the first to tell you, I don't get enough sleep. I'm not always eating right. I'm not always exercising right. Sometimes when I am overcome with hurt or anger or disappointment, I don't communicate that. I suppress it. And then I get to a point where then it explodes. And then I'm like, whoa, why am I crying? Like, what's all this going on, right? All of these things, I want our audience to understand tonight that that's symptomatic of our collective experience. Because individually, we're not loving ourselves.
Right.
And we're not compassionate with ourselves. So no wonder it's hard for me to look at Kiana and care that her eyes don't look happy today. And say, Kiana, girl, what's going on with you? You good? Right? Does that make sense, Kiana?
Oh.
Perfect sense. Huh?
So, like, I'm not even reading the comments. What's going on over there?
Oh, nothing you want to know about.
Will made a very good point. He said, yeah, we're often trained to suppress ourselves in order to achieve even a basic stability or survival status, or this is what we believe we have to do. So he's really just agreeing to what you were really speaking about. And, you know, I think that's a great point. That's something that we definitely have to change. And, you know, when it comes to our children, how do you think we can empower them a lot more?
Well, for one, I think that we have to start to love us a little bit more ourselves, because we can't teach them to empower themselves if we can't figure out how to empower ourselves. I mean, it's one of those things like if you're on an airplane, you got to put the mask on your face first, right? Now, we are definitely going to be losing a generation of kids if we don't get this figured out quick.
You're absolutely right.
You know? So I got to be willing to do the hard thing. I got to be willing to invest in me. I got to be willing to invest the time. I've got to be willing to invest the money. And I've got to be willing to commit to doing those things. So the first thing is I got to say, yeah, there's something not going quite right. And then I've got to make the decision to take action. And whether that means I go reach out to Christina, Ervin, or Kente, or Kiana, or whoever's in, like, I've got to say, hey, I need help. And not to assume that that's a sign of weakness, because it isn't. We all need help. Look, I am a good proponent. I feel like everybody can use a little couch time. Ain't nothing wrong with a little couch time. But you might not necessarily need couch time. Like, I didn't need couch time. I just needed somebody to basically validate what I already knew, which was that I didn't know me. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't being compassionate. I needed somebody to hold up the mirror and say, look, you're not being compassionate to you. You're not, because my dear, if you were loving you, then these are things that you would do. We talk about habits, and our mindset shift to our greatness is changing our habits, changing our communication with ourselves, and changing our communications with others, changing our listening habits with ourselves. Am I listening to myself? I'm gonna call myself out, because literally earlier today, my eyes were barely open, and Kiana knows because we talk all the time. Like, I hadn't been asleep. I had like 2-3 hours of sleep. I was struggling, and I was trying to power through anyway, because this is what I learned. You power through, no excuses, yes. Right? Yeah. And I was trying to power through, and my body, like, I was in mid-sentence, and I was like, what was I just typing? Like, I was in the middle of the sentence, and I was typing, and I couldn't remember. Now, I wasn't loving me because I didn't listen to my body saying, look, chick, you don't even know what you're thinking right now. Go lay it down. Right?
Right. Right.
I can definitely relate to that, because, my body be telling me to go to sleep and my mind be talking something differently. But I wanted to ask you about, there's this thought. I don't want to say it's in our community only, but that if you ask for help somehow, especially if you're a man, it's somehow a weakness, and or if you need someone to listen to you or whatnot, it's somehow a weakness. I want you to kind of speak to the idea of, especially from a man's point of view, of reaching out to a professional or family. Just that you need help. You need someone to listen to you.
Keita, would you agree that a lot of times, because it sounds like what you just said, and I know it has been for me, a lot of times if you don't take action on something, it's because you doubt anybody would actually care to listen to you, or maybe you feel guilty that, like, you're having this moment, somebody else needs some help. You kind of feel guilty that you needed help.
Right.
You're worried somebody is gonna, like, question your manhood, like they think you soft, right? For the audience, guys, basically what I'm saying, y'all, I think it's interesting because I'm turning to the side, like, talking to the audience.
Don't read the comments. Don't read the comments. Answer the question.
So for the audience, bottom line is, a lot of times we don't take action on stuff because of doubt, guilt, shame, worry, fear, right? All of these things. Now notice, all of those things are rooted in negative energy, disempowerment. And the reason that those things work is because you don't have self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a bad thing that you don't have self-worth, because look, you got to be taught some stuff, right? You aren't taught that self-worth. You don't understand how wonderful you are and how much you really do have to contribute to your community, to your family, to this world, right? So to answer your question, Kente, I think the first and most important priority is taking that time and investing that time to understand what you're truly passionate about, understanding what your fears are, understanding where those fears came from, understand where those things that make you feel inferior come from, right? You know, if I don't feel like I look as good as somebody else, then, you know, if I feel like I got like 5 chins or something, maybe I'm not going to hop on camera, right, and share all the gifts that I have to share because I'm afraid somebody's going to judge me, right? Rather than being like, look, I got a couple chins, but I got some things to say that I know is going to help somebody, right? Because everybody isn't for you. But what we learn as a community, what we teach each other, is that our worth, our validation comes externally rather than being internal and going out. Would you agree?
Right.
Well,
sometimes
go ahead.
Sometimes it can be hard in a relationship to feel comfortable enough to share things with your mate. Whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship or a family situation, because, you know, people sometimes have a tendency of using something you shared back at you at a later date, you know? So, you know what I mean? So it can be dicey sometimes. So we're
good at that, ain't we?
That's why he tried to kill yourself, you know, something like that.
Right.
And I think that
new friend. That's right, Ricardo.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Because what you're gonna find is, and you know, something that I learned through my journey in this course was that you got to communicate to people that, look, I'm doing some changing, I'm doing some growing, right? And what you may have known from me and of me, you might notice a little bit difference. Now, look, you should probably know that going forward, this is who I am. I didn't know who I was, but this is how I roll now, right? And I just need to know if you want to be a part of my life, because if you want to be a part of my life, then we have to have a discussion about that. And, you know, informally, that becomes like a verbal contract, but we have an understanding. I sit down with Kente and I say, Kente, look, check this out. When you come at me in this kind of tone, I feel this way. Now, here's another thing that I think that we all need to learn, and that is that there's this word called choice. Okay? There's this word called choice. And I don't know that we always, you know, want to embrace it, but you choose how you earn your money. You choose the people that are in your world. You choose how your energy is dispersed and the people that you give your energy to. You even choose how you are going to respond and react to something. This is a choice, right? Now, I never said that you're going to like all your choices. Can I make this clear? But see, a lot of times what happens is, and this was one of the things I wanted to speak about, because so often on social media, I'm seeing a lot of people be, I'm so overwhelmed. And the honest to goodness truth is, you're probably overwhelmed because there are a lot of choices to be made. There are a lot of decisions to be made. And you just don't want to make the choice. You don't like the choices that you have before you. So rather than to make the choice, you decide to abdicate that right. And then you want to get mad and overwhelmed about it and start blaming everybody else. Instead of putting your big girl panties on, your big boy panties on, and like making the decision.
Wait a minute. Don't put no big boy panties on.
Your big boy dolls.
Well, I mean, I think on that topic, I think a lot of times people with all these choices, their mindset is worried and focused on all the wrong things, which actually brings them to a position of not being able to make a sound choice. And so one of the things we really wanted to talk about tonight also is mindset, and how that really affects our day-to-day life, and even making decisions, even setting boundaries. You know, can you speak a little bit about that?
If I'm clear, if I've truly made the decision that, you know, X is my goal, right? If I've got my goal in mind and I'm clear on that, and I've truly made the decision to do this, and I understand that value to me, then I reverse engineer the steps to get to it, right? So if that requires, for example, I want to get healthy, then I go and I, you know, look at the books, read watch a video or something. I figure out what my plan is, my health plan is going to be. Maybe I go talk to a trainer and we sit down together. I go get expertise, right? And I educate myself, and I'll make the decision. Okay, this is my plan. In order for me to do this, then I've got to go get certain amounts of food. So I go to the store, I go get certain amounts of food. I got to drink certain amounts of water, right? When I don't do these things, it isn't because I'm just overwhelmed or whatever. It's because you truly haven't connected with your self-worth and your value. Because once you make that decision, there's nothing else can be done but the actions that are required to hit that thing. So when it comes to your mindset shift, it's not just good enough that in the moment I say, yeah, I want to get healthy. Like I'm hyped up because right now I'm sitting here, I'm talking to Christina and Kiana and Kente and everybody, and I'm hyped, like I'm ready to do this. And then 2 hours later, all that hype is gone because you don't have the energy of everybody else. Mm-hmm. Right? But the shift, your mindset shift comes when I actually get aware and educate myself as to the benefits of it. When I connect myself visually to the woman that I want to be, then there's nothing. It becomes like a molecular change. There's been studies that you get a molecular change, and nothing else. I don't care what it is. Like these athletes that go to the Olympics, they're going to get up and they're going to go work out, and they're going to eat right, and they're going to train their bodies. Your habits become easier once you truly connect to that emotionally and mentally and spiritually. Once you truly connect to your growth that you're going to get from it. And once you actually, don't be afraid to actually look at the root of why you weren't taking care of yourself. Like why you weren't doing this, something that was good for you. Maybe you want to become a better communicator. You want to be able to express yourself better. But you learn as an early child, that when you do, you got told to shut up, or somebody laughed at you, or they told you were stupid, or they told you whatever you thought mattered. And so you drove that seat home, and you decided that it's not good for me to say anything, right? Because, I get this response. So it's also important to not only make the decision that this is what I want to do and connect to that so that you have that molecular change, but you got to root out all those bad roots too, like your garden. And then you got to plant some real good soil around it and start watering that good soil around it. So now I got to get real with really what's causing that. And then I got to go seek out what it is that is a better, not better so much, but a healthier way for me. Maybe I know this chick named Kiana that's a good communicator, and I say, hey, Kiana, to be honest with you, I want to have a real talk with you. Is it okay? Can we keep it real?
It's okay.
Yeah. I noticed you communicate really good, and I want to learn how to do that. Then I really figured out that I think this is why I don't communicate too well, but I want to learn. And then you start to impart those good, healthy habits, but you do it without expectation and judgment. Because if you put expectation and judgment in there, then you're not going to be compassionate to yourself tomorrow when you kind of backslide. Because that's what we do. We backslide and then we're like, dang, I suck. Like I can never get this right. Right? Mm-hmm. Rather than saying, ooh, I kind of backslid. All right. I backslid. Let me figure out why I backslid. Right. Okay, something happened today that got me really upset. It really hurt my feelings. Like something happened at work, really hurt my feelings. And what I did was turn to my old go-to, which was a bag of chips. See, if I recognized that moment that triggered that negative energy, then now I can re-anchor myself. So now I'm like, it's like that kryptonite that comes like that. That's not kryptonite to me anymore. I recognize that when this happens to me, this is a response that I need to be aware of that triggers me. And maybe I don't quite have the tools to replace that emotion, but what I can do is get the tools to replace my response. So maybe I keep a bag of those, like those vegetable chip things or something, or like some carrots in the refrigerator at the break room, or in the break room at work or something. So when I'm triggered, I'll go have me one of those. Does that make sense?
Right. There's a question. He wants to know, is it true that we're all perfect beings?
I ask you, I put that back on you. I ask you your question.
No, we're not perfect. We're imperfect. I think that's what makes us great, is that we have our flaws, and so I don't think we're perfect beings at all. And I think it's wrong to, a lot of us are talking about they're looking for the perfect man or perfect woman. Spiritual being.
Talking about spiritual. Absolutely.
I don't know. I don't think so though, because we're flawed. We're flawed spiritually as well, too.
I think he means like, the passage in the Bible saying that we're beautifully and wonderfully made, as in perfection by God in God's light. I don't know if that's what you're speaking about.
Here's the thing. We're always growing. We're always changing. And the moniker, I'm sorry, Kente?
I'm just saying I don't like perfect at all, because I don't think anything's.
Yeah, I think I can't with you, LaShonda. I can't with you. I think we're always evolving, we're always changing, we're always growing. The notion that perfection is, because if you say perfection, then you're automatically starting to judge yourself. You're automatically putting an expectation on yourself. You're automatically assigning a ceiling of a sort. Mm-hmm. I don't know that for me, my goal isn't to be perfect. Right. My goal is to be the best me I can be in every moment and every day. And I know that I'm going to fall short in that in one way or another, and that's okay. I can be compassionate and love myself and be like, I missed the mark on that one. Why did I miss the mark on that one?
I want to shift. Exactly. That's Danny. You're absolutely right. He asked how can anyone really measure up to that? Yes. I really want to shift and really tie this mindset portion that you were just speaking about into working entrepreneurs, because one of the things that I see, not only on Periscope, on all these different platforms, a lot of people are putting up fronts. They don't want to show that they're working entrepreneurs, because it's kind of like a lot of people I'll say are saying that if you're not going hard and you're not doing it full time, you're not really serious about your business. And there's all this negative things when it comes to actually switching. You've been working and you're trying to transition into 100% entrepreneurship. And I really want to speak about the mindset, because one of the things that you spoke about is so true. When you're at work, you're dealing with all kinds of things, and you're running your business at the same time. You're doing a lot of business work on your days off. You're doing a lot of business work, when you get home. I know I do, right? And so you're trying to make that shift. But then you have these people out here telling you, you're not serious. If you're not serious about your craft, you're not serious about what you want, you're not serious about your business, why are you working? Can you really speak about the mindset and what working entrepreneurs go through dealing with these type of things?
Ooh, child. That's why I really target the still employed entrepreneurs, because I'm feeling you. Boo, I love it. You're often taught, these coaches, these gurus, these leaders, like they tell you, to not talk about it. You can only talk about the good stuff. You can only talk about the things that you've achieved. Don't talk about the hardship. Look, here's the thing. Okay. That's not reality. I don't know where in the world everybody got to this whole things is going to be easy. It's going to be overnight. It's going to happen with no problem. You ain't got to invest no money, no time, no pain, no emotions. I don't understand where that came from, but it ain't real. And that ain't what your girl he'll be talking about. I'm going to keep it real with you. Look, you're going to be stressed the heck out from time to time. All right. I work my business in the crevices of my days. So if I'm on a conference call at work, I get off that conference call. I know I got about 10, 15 minutes for the next meeting. I'm going to run to the break room real quick. I'm going to do a little post. I'm going to respond to an email. I'm going to make a phone call. When I get off of work after a 10, 12-hour day, I'm going to come in. And this is a new habit that I'm having to, that I'm working very diligently at implementing. And I'm definitely not perfected this yet. But coming in from work, and I'll sit straight down at the computer and I'll be working at my computer for 2, 3, 4, 5 more hours. All right. The notion that you are going to be able to build a business overnight and quit your job is a measurement of how dedicated you are to your job is just ridiculous. So let me just bring it back to a common sense level. If you stressed out now when you are getting a check and able to pay your rent or your mortgage and your car payment and eat, if you stressed out now when you are getting a check, how the hell you gonna feel when you ain't getting a check and your business is not in the black? Now look, I'm just speaking to the common sense, because if that don't make sense to you, you're not for me and I'm not for you. I'm not talking to you. You go talk to the guru. I'm just talking to the people that really wants to deal with some common sense right now. What's so funny?
Go talk to the guru. Hashtag go talk to the guru.
I'm not that chick. Like it's just not. It doesn't even make any common sense that that's possible. There are some people who have just been winners all their life. No matter what they touch, it goes to gold. But when you get back, when you reduce it down and you start asking the questions, they've always been winners at that thing that they knew that they had the market cornered in this skill. So they positioned themselves where they knew that they were going to be good. But when you go into entrepreneurship, you might even be good at a skill. That doesn't mean that you're good at marketing. It doesn't mean that you're good at sales. It doesn't mean that you're good at relationships. And good Lord, that is very difficult for these millennials who are not even taught to communicate with each other, because we on this goddamn phone all the time. I told you I was going to keep it real now.
Hashtag.
So it's like there is a learning curve to anything. We are not like deer or something where they birth a deer, the deer staggers a couple times and then it's able to walk, right? We come out as babies, flailing around, crying and stuff. We can't walk. We can't eat. Shoot, the doctor got to do some things so we start breathing. So the natural order of life is time and progression. It is learning. It is trial and error. As a still well-employed entrepreneur, the quicker you understand that, the quicker you grow emotionally, the quicker you grow your emotional quotient, the better off you're going to be. And that is, it's going to take a little time. You're probably not going to be in the black for a while. And for a while, could possibly be some years. Your goal is to be growing your skills every day. And this stuff that we were talking about before we shifted to the entrepreneur part, what I personally learned was that I wasn't putting myself out there enough. I was afraid to ask for the sale because I didn't understand my worth. Now I'm quick to be like, yeah, I can help you out with that. That's going to cost this much. Do you want me to send this to the PayPal to what I send this to? As soon as I see the confirmation, we'll make an appointment, right? Because I understand my value. And as an entrepreneur, it's important for you to understand that what you put out is what you're going to get back, baby. It's a boomerang. So if you free seeking, right? If you overnight gold looking for that big gold bomb that's just going to break you out, right? That's what you're going to get, boo. If you free seeking, trust and believe, all you're going to attract are free seekers. If you're not willing to pay someone else for their worth, how dare you ask someone to pay you? Now, you said I could keep it real, right? I'm just...
Another thing, too, sometimes is being an entrepreneur, when you're in a relationship with someone who's not an entrepreneur, they work a 9 to 5 or something. And sometimes they have a hard time really understanding what it's like to be an entrepreneur or some of the things that go with it, because they think that you have a limited time, that you can just take off whenever and with all that. They don't understand that you can't, a lot of times you don't have sick days, you know what I mean? And all of that kind of stuff, because you're constantly working, because you don't work, you don't eat. So I want you to kind of talk about the dynamic of a relationship when one of the person is an entrepreneur and the other person is not. And, what kind of mate you think you should look for, if you're an entrepreneur.
Like, are we talking a business mate or like a life partner?
Life partner.
Okay. This is a really good question for me because I happen to be blessed and having someone in my corner that's like got my back. Like, I'm literally, a lot of times I'm like, babe, you should tell me no, I can't invest this money. But I have someone in my corner who's like, oh, I know you got this. Like, you're gonna be able to do this. So I recognize that I have a situation that not most people don't have. This is what I would say. I think it's important. And a lot of times it really kind of depends, because if you don't have that person in your life, before you start your business, then that's going to be one kind of discussion. But if you've already been together and then you decide to start your business, which is what most people deal with, and so that's what I'll speak to first, then that's another discussion. And a lot of times it comes down to this, baby, look, check this out. I'm not feeling fulfilled. I don't know exactly what my purpose is, but what I know is every day I'm dying a slow death. It's killing me. I can't even be happy and totally present when I'm with you, because all I'm thinking about is how there's something out there for me. And I just want to have this discussion with you because I wonder, are you satisfied with where we are? Better still, what is it that you kind of don't allow yourself to fully dream about? Like, is there a trip that you really want to go on that you kind of put out your mind because we can't afford it? Is there this home that you really would love to build? Do you want to do something with the kids that we haven't had an opportunity
Australia.
Yeah. I want to go see them bossies too. But like, it requires the communication with your partner and get them dreaming again. Because oftentimes, as much as you've personally turned off your dreamer, your partner probably has too. And then get together, get your dreams together. It's okay to have your own individual dreams, but baby, what can we do together? And then we understand that this business is a commitment and an investment for the family. Because this ain't about me coming up, baby. This is about us coming up. And when it's clear that everybody's coming up, then it's easier to get some buy-in. Maybe, baby, look, check this out. Maybe I can't do so much watching, Empire and stuff. Maybe I'll tell you what, how about we record all the shows, right? And we can't spend a lot, like I'm going to be spending a little extra time away from the family. But let's record the shows. And then maybe on Sunday afternoon after church, we get together and we watch them together as a family. And I promise you, if we can just do this commitment, like if we can just sacrifice this for just this little bit of time, I promise you, we'll start to see some differences, right? And allow them to experience it with you. Because when you make a sale, when you land a client, when you do whatever your business is, everybody did that, right? Because maybe somebody washed the dishes when you should have been washing the dishes. So everybody did that. Everybody gets to celebrate it. I guess basically, in short, what I'm saying, Kente, is make it about you and your partner and your family rather than making it about you. Too often, as entrepreneurs, we make it about us. And we don't bring our family with us.
No, yeah, you're great point. And it is awesome to have somebody in your life who supports you, your mate. When they really support you and they got your back and you feel supported, it definitely makes a big difference. It actually helps you, so, and I always, I think that's part of the thing. All right. So I want to take a moment to, we always like to do this in the middle of the show, is do a chat room shout out. So just to let everybody know that we acknowledge you and we see you up in here. So, all right, let me start off. Of course, we got C. Will. We have Kenneth, who just came in, snuck in the building. We have LaShonda. We have Nikki Lyon. We have Cordelia, Ryan Sharp, Walter, and Danny as well. Thank you so much for coming in and chilling with us. And I want to, let people know, of course, we're here every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. And, of course, we'll be back next week, once again, doing our thing. All right. So I want to also say that we will be letting people come in to ask questions in a second, in a few. All right. So let's go back to our conversation while we're doing that. And sorry about that. Sorry, I had to do that real quick. Sorry about that. Actually, I'm unlocking the seat now. All right, so the seat is unlocked. So if you guys want to come in and ask any questions to our wonderful guests, please, feel free, as long as you're not on that BS. All right. So, what I think is really important for me is at a certain point, because you work really hard, you do a lot of things, I think it's good to have a mental health week or, days, just take some time to decompress. I know it's hard when you're out there trying to build and do a lot of stuff, but I think it's really important. What do you think about that?
Kente, your girl is a proponent of a good mental health day. Honey, whew, it's necessary. Sometimes I'll send a text, like I'll be at work and I'll be in a break or something, and I'll be like, babe, tomorrow, mental health day, I need it, like for real. and a mental health day needs to be a true mental health day. That means you're not doing work, you're not in the business, you're really tending to yourself, you're tending to relationships that maybe you haven't had the time to tend to. You're actually going out there, maybe you're seeking out some mentorship or some coaching or something like that. But it's literally taking that time, because it's kind of like, like people who, it's like if you work out, right? You work out, you're supposed to have a rest day because what you're doing is ripping your muscles and you got to allow them to rejuvenate. It's the same thing with your mind. What you got to do for your body, like physically, you have to do it for your mind and you have to do it for your soul.
You're right. And also, too, if you have a significant other and kids potentially, it's good to do that with them as well. Because I tell you, at a certain point, I can feel it when I need to, when I need to do that. Because because you're out there building, especially for yourself, your business and whatnot. You want to go hard. You want to go hard, put in 12-hour days, don't get any sleep. And then all of a sudden that stuff will come back, and it will come back, and it'll mess with the proficiency that you work at.
And that kind of goes back to that question that you were asking, like, what do you do, with your partner, if to get your partner on board? I know one of the things that I do, because my partner is just not as much as I try to influence and guide that whole entrepreneurial thing, it's just not, just not the way I am about it. But what I do is I say, hey, babe, I learned this on a podcast, and I was wondering if you would like to try it out, or do you mind me, can we take 5 minutes and let me share it with you? And then once I share it, I gauge by the response, if it's one of those dead, oh, good Lord, I hope she hurries up and shut up. So we can go and do something else. Like, I know that response. But if there seems to be some genuine interest, then we could go further with it. Would you like to try it? Maybe we can try it maybe once a month, kind of thing. And that's another way that you can also get your partner in on it with you too, Kente.
The trolls are out tonight. That's all I gotta say. So what would you say would be the best thing for a working entrepreneur?
As far as mindset, or as far as just in general with growing your business?
With growing your business.
I think what Danny just said is really important. Just because you're a solopreneur doesn't mean that you're doing it alone. You don't have a team. Danny happens to be one of my, kind of mastermind buddies. We frequently check in with each other, whether it just be a text, hey, what you doing, or a Marco Polo now. I done got other folks in on the Marco Polo.
Really?
But it's important to have, some key mastermind people. It's important as an entrepreneur that you have coaching, and it might not be one coach for everything. I think it's important that there's different kinds of coaches. You have your mindset and accountability coaches that are just as valuable as maybe a marketing coach. That's also just as valuable as maybe a sales funnel strategist or something like that, right? So understanding, being able to take honest self-assessment of where you are in your business, what your next steps are, like what your best opportunities are to get to your next level. So maybe long term, I do need, a marketing and sales funnel strategist, but I'm not quite there yet. Right now, I probably need, skills on how to better, my mindset, so that I can get consistent. And maybe I need a little help on social media marketing, like what, I need to build my email list. So what are those things? Then I concentrate on finding coaches for that. And to that point, don't always be, trying to go to the guru coach. Then here's a nugget, because the guru coach has had some kind of proven success. whether it's long-term or not. They've had some kind of proven success, not taking it from them. Not saying that they're not awesome. But while you're looking to try to get to that guru, you feel like you're struggling to pay your bills. You're struggling to invest in your business. The guru is going to cost you $10,000 just for a few hours, right? What you want to do is look for someone who is direct source to the guru. Like, for example, maybe I've trained personally, I've paid money and invested money to train with guru coaches. Well, rather than worried about trying to get to the guru that you can't afford, well, maybe you can afford me because I'm not quite as much as the guru just yet. And I probably have a little bit more time to invest in you because you really want somebody who can work with you one-on-one or in small groups. Because that's what's going to give you the best ability to scale up quicker. A lot of times people are buying into these training systems, and systems are not a bad thing, but people are buying into guru coaches who have been successful at templatizing sort of what they have personally done to grow their business. That might not be the best thing for you to grow your business, right? And just because they've templatized this, it's not even a word. Anyway, you get what I'm saying.
Made a template.
Word. I like that.
You made a template for it. They're going to put you into that. And really, you don't even need that. Like, they don't even really address what your needs are. So I think it's being clear on what you need, and then going to get the right coaching, and being willing to actually take some action, and understanding that failure is not a bad thing. As a matter of fact, it's a good thing. Because that really, what failure means is that you took some action, and then you had the opportunity to learn something.
Now, I want to take a moment to introduce. We have a caller. I believe it's Walter. Where are you located, Walter?
New York City.
New York City. Okay. So you have a question or statement?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I'll just have some thoughts. Maybe might help. Or maybe I need some help. I don't know. But the thing is that everyone is different. Every single individual is different. Mm-hmm. And no matter how much you might think that this guru or that business plan or this system or whatever might work for you, it still has to be designed or worked on to mold it for you. And that's the only person that can do that. It's like when you read a book and everyone gets something different from the book. Each person watches a movie. They all see a different movie. You guys are looking at me. Each one sees a different me. My nose is big. My hair is this way, whatever. And so it's all unique. And when you're making a business, especially, I don't know why so many people think they have to make a business or not make a business or whatever. What's the idea behind it? Because they want to make a lot of money, maybe. But it's not necessarily what you're going to end up doing, because you may go set yourself, so I'm going to make a business and build an empire or something like that. But maybe you don't have the motivation or the dream or the desire to build a Berkshire Hathaway like Warren Buffett, or or an Apple computer, or maybe it doesn't need the world doesn't need that. First of all, you may be trying to build an Apple computer, but can you eat pizza this week? And I measure everything in pizza because I like pizza, and as long as I can get pizza, and I sell this thing or that thing or whatever on based on how many pizzas it's going to be or whatever, something like that. But when you work with people, I photograph people a lot. I'm a photographer and artist. When you work with people, the people that come to you and that you do your work for, that's me. When I do work for some people, I photograph them. They are the people I'm working with, and they are the people that send people to me all the time. So I'm not even a great salesperson. Those people, once I do the work for them the best that I can, and they're happy, Those are my salespeople. I don't need no sales funnel, whatever people are talking about. I'm old-fashioned. I'm doing my business since 1976. I'm doing my photography and art since 1958. That's 58 years, but the business since 1976. And when people come here, I'll do the best that I can. They can't leave till they're going to be happy. I won't let them leave. They can't pay me until they're happy with what I'm doing. And then they go, and I get a lot of real estate agents or whatever, and they go and tell the other agents. I got different agencies that send people to me. They don't even know why they're coming here. When they get here, then they understand why they were sent here.
Walter's actually bringing up a really great point and really core to what I teach.
Tell me what it is. I don't know. I want to know. Because I talk, but I don't know what my points are. I just tell you the truth. You know, people say be yourself. You know, I can't make points. I can't make bullets, whatever, you know, what rules. It's just this is it.
But here's the key in what you did say. You know, you go to my website, you look at my videos, you look at my social media, you're always going to see that at the core is audience building, relationships. No matter what your shortcomings are on what your knowledge level is or what your skill level is or whatever, when you just build relationships, when you focus on building an audience of engaged ideal buyers, but just engaged an audience, a lot of times that takes over for your shortcomings and your skill set because relationships matter. So when I meet people, I'm going to read what it is that they do. Like, I'm going to figure out what it is that they do. I'm going to talk with them and I'm going to figure out what their passions are, what their business is all about. Because guess what I'm also going to do? I'm also going to connect them. You know, when I see, I need a web developer. Well, I got web developers in my pocket. I got website in my pocket. I got content writers. I got copywriters. I got everything you need. I got connections.
Sound like you got a big
because
pocket.
I'm building relationships.
Okay. Well, I never think of people as an audience. I never think of it as a big audience because when I was younger, I played in different orchestras. I was a violinist and I also played rock music. So audience is like a whole lot of people there all at once. And then to perform for the audience is like much different than when you're one-to-one with the people. And that most of the cases I have now is just one-to-one people. Mm-hmm. So as a collective, you know, if I was to talk to all of them, you know, that would be one thing. And I push the button to invite people that are following me here. So maybe some audience is going to show up too. But when I'm doing my work, which is my photography or my art, is all by myself. You know, that's totally different ball game. Then I'm just dealing with only that one person and what they individually need. And I think it's really difficult, like when we're playing rock music or in an orchestra, you need a conductor when you've got a whole lot of musicians performing for an audience. And when you have a band, you have to have a band leader to figure out how you're going to perform for the audience, because someone has to have the perspective to relate to the entire group of people that you're trying to reach. So audience is a little bit difficult for me when I'm thinking about my work here. But then there's something else. There's something else that I wanted to say. And individuals are like really complex, much more than you'd think. Like you were talking before about, you know, feelings and growing up and being trained a certain way and everything, right? And that's true. But even you can be in the same family and it's going to be different between yourself and the next person. I got two brothers and they're very different than me. No one knows even how to relate to me. I'm an artist. My wife, thank God, she can put up with me, but I'm sure she doesn't understand me. And sometimes in the family, I was in Manhattan today, and I saw my friend who I did his wedding at St. Patrick's Cathedral. I photographed his wedding, and his wife was there, and they're working together. My wife has nothing to do with me. She doesn't want to touch. She's studying ballet. She's a retired teacher. She wants to study ballet. So it has nothing to do with me. So I wish that I had someone that was, or a couple of people that were interested in helping sell art. And I try to talk to some of my real estate agents that come to me for a photograph, that they might be interested in selling my art. But it's a transition period. It took me a long time to build up my business since 1976 for photography, and the art is relatively new. So I started in 2006 putting it online, and I had 351,295 images. And then the site where it was, that was good. You know, I got between 10,000 and 50,000 views a day, every single day. But that site, they said I took up too much space, so they took everything down except for 4,000 images. Now I got to know what, I don't know. I got all these images in my computers. I don't know what to do with them yet. I'm trying to figure out, put it in this gallery, that gallery.
You're bringing up another good point, which is.
Oh, thank you.
You want to be claiming. Think of yourself like a real estate mogul, like when it comes to building your business, especially leveraging the internet these days. Like, think of yourself like a real estate mogul, like you just want to be snatching up property. You've got all of these pictures, they are assets. And if you were to be putting them online,
yes,
then people can passively, you're building an audience passively, right? You don't have to be directly building an audience. And then that provides an opportunity for you to monetize later.
Yeah, I got 12,700 followers.
Well, the followers,
on Facebook,
and that's good. But you have to have, you know, are you putting the pictures out there?
Yeah, I put them up. Yeah, I got the 19,000 Pinterest pins of my work. Yeah, I get it there. But the biggest thing that we had before the internet for any artist is, like, I guess you would call it distribution. Because before the internet ever existed, every artist, they would have to try and get into a museum or a gallery, you know, or do shows themselves physically. And that's you know, like, you only get a couple of thousand maybe in the gallery, people looking at work. But I got 10,000 to 50,000 views a day. That was like unbelievable. So I know people saw my stuff, and so now I feel like it's a step back, but I have to figure out where the next jump is going to be forward.
Well, your next jump is to ask for the sale, dude. Like, you got all those people looking.
No, I was getting sales on that site, but they cut it off. So I have to. Now I'm putting it in different galleries.
You don't have your own. You don't have your own.
There is
site.
no other. Yeah, I took the same address. It's a redirect, and I sent it to another site. I have a particular site for artists, you know. So I have stuff there. You can look at it. But as far as distribution,
have you ever heard of the Never Settle Club?
No. But that sounds good. What does it mean?
It's run by Mario Armstrong, and he has a team of individuals as well. So I would love for you to look into it. I think on Facebook, if you just search Never Settle Club, it's a great group, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs there, encouraging, empowering each other. He puts out great content. Really, he's amazing. I've been following Mario for a long time. And so that actual group on Facebook might be helpful for you, and really navigating a lot. And of course, Christina is amazing at what she does. And if you've been here as long as you've been, you can hear that she is very helpful. She knows what she's talking about. So maybe you two can connect. But as far as a group, Never Settle Club is a great group that you'll be able to connect with other entrepreneurs. But I think maybe you'll be able to go offline with Christina and really have some more further discussion.
Yeah, whatever you like. Are you on Facebook, Christina?
I'm on Facebook, or you can go to ChristinaErvin.com.
Well, can you just link? I'll give you my site. my main site that has the links, and you could just go to the links.
I just put my site in
right
there. You could just go on over there, and you can connect with me over on my site. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Okay.
Walter. We're gonna open it up and see if anybody else can come in before. Thank you.
Thank you, Walter.
Thank you for mentioning. Someone mentioned Kim Kardashian. That's interesting because I'm Armenian as well, so that's an interesting connection.
Kim Kardashian.
Yikes.
Maybe we can get her on a future episode.
Permission.
I was only kidding for people. No, I think a good place to end is what's for the future for you? Where do you see yourself going, and what do you want to do? With your business, with your your life goals. Let us know.
My most immediate plans right now, I'm actually taking applications now for my next class, to my next Pay Me What I'm Worth class. I'm taking applications for that now. And I'm working on my coaching. I'm also taking new coaching clients to help them with their mindset accountability coaching, or whether it be online marketing coaching. I'm taking clients for that. And I've got some, discussions going here and there. Might be doing a couple of joint venture opportunities. Those are, my most immediate plans, and working on a digital product. That's my most immediate plans. Very much focused on my next Pay Me What I'm Worth class, though, because I really want to help get people's mindset shifted so that they can reach their greatness.
You should add some exclamation points at the end of Pay Me What I'm Worth. So it's like, pay me what I'm worth, because sometimes you feel like you need to definitely say that out there. So
yeah. That's true. If you want to, have some discussions with me about that, my next Pay Me What I'm Worth class, I'll put that in there. You can go to ChristinaErvin.com/mindset. And you put your information in there, I'll get back in contact with you. We can get some information, let you know how you can apply for that. I do talk about it, and that's not my personal, trademark. That's my mentor's trademark. I actually do coaching alongside with my mentor with that. But that's a good suggestion. And I do talk with everybody, because that's not a course that's for everybody. So don't have your feelings hurt if we have a discussion, and I'm let you know that at this time you're not the right fit, because this is like, if you're really ready to make that shift, then we're more than happy to be working with you.
I love it. And how can people get you on Twitter?
At the C Ervin on Twitter. And you can reach me at my fan page on Facebook is Aiming High Forever, facebook.com/Aiming High Forever. But if you go over to my website, you'll be able to connect with me on all my social channels.
All right. And Kiana, how can people?
All right. You can check me out everything at Happy Work Week, Facebook. If now, they have the usernames on Facebook, we're getting a little sophisticated. So if you go into the search engine or the search bar, you can find at Happy Work Week. You'll see my group.
I can see my girl Rain down.
I know, Rain. That's why I was like, I know people think I'm crazy. I'm always making these facial expressions, right? Rain is in the house. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen her in forever. So sorry. That was what that face was about. But yes, Twitter, Facebook, across the board, as I say, every week at Happy Work Week. I'm super excited to be back on Periscope coming Sunday. Woo-oo. So Kente, how can people find you?
You can get me at Kente F on Twitter, and you can go indyradio.org. Hear more radio stuff, indyrradio.org. And of course, this day in history is for June 17th, and we're going to the year 1928. The great James Brown was born. So happy birthday, the Godfather.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm a huge, huge fan and admirer of that man. So, and rest in peace. If hip hop fans, the rapper PM Don died at 46 years old. If you guys remember back in the day, he had he had one good hit. Well, he had two hits. So, rest in peace, and very sad. He was a young man, 46 years old. But I know he had been having health issues for quite a long time. So, yeah. So rest in peace. So next week we'll be back with an all new episode right here at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. We'll be joined by life coach SJ and Danielle K. Anderson from Living Your Purpose right here on Blab. So they both will be in the house. We're going to be chopping it up with them, asking them all kind of crazy questions. So make sure you guys come back and check that out. And of course, we have a lot of great guests as we had tonight and we've had in the past coming up. So, we've been on our grind with the guests. So thank you so much. And you were, fantastic. And hopefully we can get you back and we can talk some more stuff. And, and I think this was awesome. I think this conversation was so needed on our show because we got into the meat of a lot of things that we kind of talk about, but we talked about it from a different angle tonight, and I really appreciated it.
Right.
Thank you. I appreciate having you on. It was great hanging out, man. We'll have to do this again. Kiana knows I love to go in now. I love to go in.
I've been on fire all